Anik Chawla, Bharatanatyam dancer and an art educator, disciple of Guru Geeta Chandran ji. We are going to start with principles of art. Art, in its countless manifestation, have always been more than an act of creation. It is an expression of thought, an embodiment of emotion, and a reflection of the social, cultural, and philosophical dimensions of life. Whether we look at the sweeping strokes of a painter's brush, the measured beats of dancers' footwork, the harmonic arrangement of musical notes, or the carefully balanced composition of a sculpture, every great artistic creation is guided by the certain fundamental principles. These principles are the backbone of artistic practice, forming a framework within which creativity flourishes. Across time and geography, these principles remain surprisingly consistent. Ancient Indian treatises such as Bharata's Natya Shastra and Abhinav Gupta's commentary on aesthetic outline elements similar to those discussed by Western thinkers like Aristotle in his Poetics analyzed the components of drama and poetry, while later thinkers such as Leonardo da Vinci explored the harmony between science and art in creation. The terms may differ, but the essence, content, form, balance, rhythm, symbolism, proportional harmony, emotional expression, and mastery over the medium remains universal. These principles are not rigid rules, rather, they serve as a guiding lights, enabling the artist to shape raw imagination into an experience that moves, informs, and delight the audience. We begin with the first principle, which is content. Content is the seed of artistic creation. It's a subject matter, the what of an artwork. It may be a tangible narrative like Mahabharata or Ramayana, or an intangible concept such as freedom, love, or solitude. It can be literal, a painted portrait, or symbolic, an abstract pattern representing the cycles of nature. An artist begins by imagining the content in vivid mental images. For a painter, it may be a scene; for a choreographer, a movement sequence; for a composer, a melodic phrase. This imagination is often guided by text, oral traditions, or personal experiences. If I talk about the Dhwani theory, the Dhwani theory, the 9th century Kashmiri scholar Anandavardhana introduced the concept of Dhwani, the resonance or suggested meaning in art. According to this theory, the deepest impact of an artwork lies not in its explicit content but in what it implies. This is equally true in visual art, where a partially hidden figure may convey mystery, or in music, where a lingering notes suggest longing. If I give you a few examples, in Bharatanatyam, Padam, which is a very soft piece, may depict a heroine yearning for her beloved with gestures, mudras, abhinayas, emotions beyond the literal lyrics. Another example is Raja Ravi Verma combined mythological content with Western realism, making divine figures appear human and relatable. One more, in temple sculpture, content is often narrative. Panels of Konark Sun Temple depict episodes from daily life alongside divine stories. So, if we look at a temple, there are so many structures, so many sculptures. We can see all the divine stories which are being carved on the temple. Now we move to the second principle, which is form. Form is the shape of the vision. It is the structural manifestation of content, the how of expression. It includes shape, structure, style, and arrangement, all of which are influenced by the medium. So, if I talk about medium and form relationship, so sculpture, if I say sculpture, it has three dimensions which must obey the law of gravity and space. Similarly, if I talk about architecture, it combines functional form, which is space and support, with aesthetic form, which is design and ornament. If I talk about music, the form may be defined by the structure of the composition. Example, alap, jod, jhal in Hindustani instrumental music, or varnam, kriti, swara kalpana, ragam tanam pallavi in Carnatic music. In dance, form emerged from body positions, lines, and transitions. If I give you some examples of the form, such as Taj Mahal form is inseparable from its use of white marbles, allowing intricate carvings and a luminous glow under moonlight. The cylindrical body of a mridangam shapes its tonal resonance. In painting, the difference between figurative and non-figurative forms can shift meaning entirely. In Bharatnatyam, the Aramandi, which is the half-sitting stance, form the basis of the dance, shaping both the visual geometry of movement and the rhythmic precision of footwork. In Odissi, chalk stance form foundational posture, giving the dance its characteristic strength, symmetry, and sculptural grace. Now we move to the next aspect, which is balance. Balance is the art of equilibrium. It ensures that no part of the artwork overwhelms another. It may be visual, distribution of forms and colors, spatial, stage use, or auditory, which is sound balance between instruments. It is of three types, which is symmetrical, equal visual weight on both sides, seen in Mughal miniatures or temple architectures. Another one is asymmetrical, which is unequal yet balanced. For example, Japanese ink painting often place a single object off center with space to balance it. And the third one is radial, element related to form a central point. For example, mandalas are the perfect example of radial structure. In Kathak group choreography, dancers form balanced circular or diagonal patterns. In rag, sangeet, balance is achieved between the alap, expansiveness, and the dhrutkal, which is third speed, very fast one. In theatre, a balanced script weaves drama, comedy, and emotional depth without overemphasizing one of the expense of the other. Now we move to the next aspect, which is rhythm. Rhythm is the pulse of creation. In art, it refers to the measured flow of movement, sound, or visual elements, creating a sense of order and continuity. In performing arts, it is the temporal framework that organizes movement and sound into patterns, enabling both coherence and variety. In dance, rhythm determines the timing of steps, gestures, and transitions, often aligning with musical beats or thala cycles. If I talk about music, it is the arrangement of beat, accent, and pauses that shape the composition's momentum and emotional character. In visual arts, rhythm emerges from the repetition of shapes, colors, or lines, guiding the viewer's eye across the work. If I give you a few examples of balance, such as in Bharatnatyam, others follow strict rhythmic cycles, matching footwork to percussion instrument. Van Gogh's swirling brushstrokes create a visual rhythm in Starry Night. In filming, editing pace controls narrative rhythm, rapid cuts heighten tensions, slow fades create calm. In Hindustani music, rhythm is structured by tala cycles with a sum, which is the starting beat or the first beat, anchoring the composition and lay, dictating its pace. In Carnatic music, intricate tala systems such as Adital or Rupakatal provide the rhythmic foundation of compositions and improvisation. So, if I give you the example of the tala system in Carnatic music. So, here I talked about Adital and Rupakatal. Adital has 8 counts, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I talk about the Rupakatal Chatushrijati is 1, 2, it has 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is how tala is put on the hand while singing, or if we have to put any korvai or jati, we put like this on the beat, whether it be in Hindustani music or Carnatic music. But in both, talas are different. They have different structure and it's very different. Hindustani music belongs to the North India and whereas Carnatic music belongs to South India. So, mostly the dance forms of South follows Carnatic music and North follows Hindustani music. Now we move to next aspect, which is symbolism. Symbolism is speaking beyond words. Symbolism in art refers to the use of imagery, motif, gestures, colors, sounds or structure to represent ideas, emotions, belief or narratives beyond their literal meaning. In Indian tradition, symbolism serves as a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, allowing the audience to connect with deeper philosophical or spiritual path. The choice of symbols, whether visual, verbal or kinetic carries cultural, historical, and emotional significance. In visual arts, a lotus may symbolizes purity and divine birth, while the chakra, the wheel, it signifies the eternal cycle of time. In architecture, temple layout often symbolizes the cosmic order, with the Garbhagriha, which is Sanctum Sanctorum, representing the universe's spiritual center. In music, specific ragas are associated with time of day, season, or moods, which is rasa, serving as auditory symbols of nature's rhythm and emotional states. If I give you a few examples of the ragas, the rag make evokes the monsoon. Rag Bhairavi is often performed at the end of a concert to signify closure. In performing arts, symbolism is central to communication. The raised hand in Abhaya Hasta, which is the gesture of protection in Bharatanatyam, symbolizes reassurance and divine blessings. So, Abhaya Hasta in Bharatanatyam is like this. So, when Shiva stands like this hand means gesture of protection. Similarly, if I talk about Odissi, the Tribhangi posture symbolizes threefold bends of body reflecting grace, fluidity and femininity. If I talk about Kathakali, the color coded makeup and elaborate headgear are symbolic of a character's, which is nature green of for noble heroes, red streaks for ferocity, black for evil. So if the artist's face is colored with nature green, that means that's a noble character. If it is colored with red streaks, it means that is a ferocious character. And if it is colored black, that means that's the evil character which the artist is portraying on stage. Through symbolism, art transcends mere technique, becoming a coded language through which artists express layered meanings, evoke cultural memory, and invite the audience into a shared space of interpretation and experience. Now we move to next aspect, which is emotional expression. Emotional expression is the heart of art. It is one of the most profound purposes of art, allowing the artist to communicate inner feelings, moods, and psychological states in a way that resonates with the audience. It transforms personal experience into a universal language, enabling emotion to be felt, shared, and understood beyond the boundaries of time, space, and culture. In Indian aesthetic, this principle is closely linked to the concept of rasa. As elaborated in Bharata's Natik Shastra, rasa refers to the aesthetic flavor or sentiment experienced by the spectator, evoked through the deliberate presentation of bhav by the performer. Different kind of emotions are evoked depending on the character and theme in drama and dance. The Navarasas, the 9 types of emotional states, form the soul of artistic expression across all art forms. These rasas not only influence the viewers but also serve as a powerful medium to convey message, creating the immersive artistic experience known as the Rasa Anubhava in both visual and performing arts. Through the mastery of these emotions, artists reveal their originality and depth of expression. So, few examples like Shringara Ras, that is for love and beauty. It is expressed through romantic poetry, which is rich in metaphor or imagery. In painting, by using soft and harmonious colors. Same way, Shringara can, in the music, can be shown with lyrical melodies that evoke tenderness. And if I talk about the Hasya Rats, which is for laughter or joy, it appears in comedic theatre through witty dialogue and humorous situations. Caricature art using exaggerated features to create amusement, and lively musical composition with playful rhythm that reflects the Hasya Ras. In music, emotional expression can be conveyed through the tempo, scale, and ornamentation of a raga. Like Rag Bhairavi often evokes devotion and longing, while Rag Megh brings forth the freshness and the joy of monsoon rains. In visual arts, the play of light and shadow, color choices, and composition can mirror the artistic inner state, as seen in miniature paintings that capture love, longing, or value in finely detailed brushwork. Emotional expression not only moves the audience but also serves as a cathartic process for the creator. It transforms intangible feelings into tangible forms, allowing both the artist and the viewer to connect on an emotional and often spiritual plane. In this way, art becomes a living conduit of human experience, capable of awakening empathy, reflection, and a sense of shared humanity. We move to next aspect now, which is proportion. Proportion is the mathematics of beauty. It is a fundamental principle that provides structure and order to art. Without proportion, it becomes difficult to understand where an art design begins or ends, or how its parts relate to the whole. In all art form, proportion ensures the size, scales, and relationship between elements are balanced or harmonious, avoiding confusion or imbalance. In visual arts like painting and sculpture, proportion guide the size of figures or object in relation to each other and the overall composition. For example, if I speak about the Shilpa Shastra, it provides a precise measurement to sculpting deities, ensuring divine harmony and aesthetic balance. Similarly, in architecture, the dimension of space and elements are proportional to create pleasing environments, as seen in the carefully measured layout of temples and palaces. If I talk about the proportion in music, the range of the voice and its association with instrument, ensuring a balanced blend. That's the proportion in music. If I talk about proportion in dance, the dancer must use the space proportionately with respect to time and movement, neither overwhelming nor underutilizing the area. The size and scale of movement, gestures, and expression must fit within the context of the performance. Proportion helps create art that is neither too large nor too small, but rather comprehensive and well balanced in its expression. Excessively elaborate or oversized presentation, especially in modern media arts, may tire the viewers, disrupting the artistic experience. Thus, maintaining proportion is key to sustaining the viewer's engagement and appreciation. Now we move to next aspect, which is harmony. Harmony is unity in diversity. Each of artistic principle discussed above, like content, form, balance, rhythm, symbolism, emotional expression and proportion. It stands as an independent element. However, when expressed without coordination and integration with the other, the artwork may fail to create a sense of joy or delight in viewers. When harmony is achieved, the art becomes a source of delight and inspiration. In all art forms, harmony is the subtle thread weaving the individual components into an integrated artistic expression that engages and satisfies the audience. So, for example, if I talk about harmony, if we see the Ganga Aarti at Varanasi that unite light, sound, movement and fragrance. With this, I conclude my lecture here. Thank you.